Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today we're going to be shopping my stash for the makeup that I plan on using in the month of April. If you are new, then welcome. I'm very thrilled that you stopped by. I do predominantly beauty videos. I do things like project panning and first impressions, haul videos, and shop my stashes. I really enjoy the beauty community and so I'm very happy to be a part of it. If that's something that you are interested in as well, I hope that you'll consider subscribing. And if you enjoy Shop My Stashes, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you've liked it as well. But without further ado, let's talk about the makeup that I'm going to be cycling out of my monthly makeup basket. So let's talk a little bit about the eyeshadows that I'm going to be pulling out and putting back into my collection. If you've seen some of my previous videos, then maybe you know that I am making a point this year of trying to use through as many of my products as possible. I am so bad about buying something, using it a few times, and then going on to the next thing that I've just purchased. And eyeshadow palettes, I have an addiction to. So I've been trying to make sure that I'm focusing on 2 palettes per month and corresponding them with the letters of the alphabet. So the 2 that we are pulling out are the letters E and F. So for the letter E, we're pulling out my Urban Decay Elements palette. I really enjoyed using this palette a lot. It has got so many just fun, vibrant shades in it. It's got a mixture of metallic and matte finishes, mostly metallic though. And today I'm wearing it all over my eyes because I did not get as much use out of this as I would have wanted to. And that had nothing to do with the palette. The palette is beautiful. I absolutely love it. I've had a lot of travel in March and I've got even more coming up in April as well. And when I'm on travel, I have to go for much more conservative makeup looks. So wearing something like this guy right here, Heavy Water, doesn't really fly. So I'm wearing it all over my lids today, not this shade though. So I started with Antidote all through the crease. And then I buffed in a lot of Dreamweaver, this beautiful bright fuchsia pink color. I enjoyed that very much, just putting it all through my crease. And then all over the lid, I've used this very gold green vibrant shade here called Fool's Gold. And then all out in the outer corner to deepen it up, I used Firestarter, which is this beautiful, it almost looks like a brick red with some plum in it. So, so beautiful. I really do enjoy this palette very much, and I am sad that I didn't get more use out of it, but I am glad that I pulled it in for the month of March. And then for the letter F, I pulled in ColourPop's Fame palette. This one I did get more use out of than I did the Elements palette because it is more neutral. It leans cool tone, but as far as the type of looks that I can get from it, they are more everyday office appropriate, especially when I'm having to go more conservative. This is just such a beautiful, beautiful palette. And when I say conservative, I don't mean that it isn't a fun palette. I just mean that it doesn't have the really vibrant colors like you saw in the Elements palette. This is such a high quality palette and I really, really loved using it. The shimmers in here are so intense and so beautiful, and yet they're still very everyday wearable, which I really and truly appreciate. These palettes also played very well with the Pan My palette that I've chosen for this year, which is the Lorac Mega Pro 4. So this was a real joy to use. I think my favorite shade in here is this one right here in the shade Debutante. It is just so stunning all over the lid. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. If you have not had a chance to check out this palette, I absolutely recommend it. I know I've said time and time again that I really feel like cool toned eyeshadow looks are what are going to be in trend this year. So this is a really good way to kind of get ahead of the curve there. So I am very sad to be pulling the both of these out for the month, but I am excited to be bringing in some new fresh products. So let's go ahead and let's pull some stuff out of my makeup basket and add to it as well. Alright, so here is my monthly makeup for the month of February. So let's go ahead and see what we can go ahead and pull out and cycle through. As you may know, I am currently working on 2 project pans. So much of this is going to stay, but let's go ahead and see what we can pull out and cycle through. So let's go ahead and start with this drawer right here. This is going to be all of my primers, foundations, things like that. This drawer is going to stay exactly the same. So this is my Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. This is in my year-long project pan. I have some eye cream back here. This is also in my year-long project pan. This is my Becca under eye, not concealer, my under eye corrector rather. This is my Tarte Lid Lock. This is what I've been using to prime my eyeshadow. SPF, this is my Marc Jacobs Invisible Primer. I have my Rescue Complexion by Bare Minerals, my ColourPop No Filter Foundation Stick, and then I moved both of my eyeliners in here so that they didn't end up pooling. So both of those are going to stay. Now right above it, we have my eyeshadows. Now this actually grew somewhat after my last Shop My Stash, but everything in this top drawer is actually going to stay. So we have my unofficial Pan That palette, the Lorac Mega Pro 4. And then both of these are my ColourPop single shadows and magnetic palettes. I just have way too much fun playing with these, so they're gonna stay. And then I have two Super Shock shadows. We have Jinxie and Muse, which are both in respective projects. So this drawer here is actually going to remain as is, but underneath here is where I have my two eyeshadow palettes that I used last month. So we've got our Fame and our Elements palettes. I really enjoyed working with these, so I'm a little sad to see them go, but excited to cycle new eyeshadow palettes in. And then up here we have just lip products. I'm actually going to leave all of these the same. I'm not going to move anything in and out. I know last month I did pull some new things in, but I'll be really honest, I didn't really use them. Because I have so many lip products in my projects, I'm just not really using anything else. So I'm going to keep the ones that are here, and then as I actually start finishing things, then maybe I'll have some more space in here. Because I'm so focused on panning, I don't find myself branching out to my other products, which is something that is a little concerning, but a topic for another video. So let's go ahead and look at this one right here. This drawer houses my bronzers. So this right here is my Becca bronzer. This is in my year-long project pan. This is my Hourglass face palette. The Hoola is the bronzer that I brought in last month. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull this guy out. And then for my blushes, this Tarte blush right here. This is also in my year-long project pan. This is my Becca blush in the shade Songbird. I love this blush. I'm sad to be pulling it out. I did get some use out of this Studio Makeup blush, and I really did enjoy it, so I'm going to go ahead and hold on to it. It's in the shade Wildflower. And then this guy I just stinking adore. This was the collab that, well, I don't know if it's really a collab, but Lorac released this with the Pirates of the Caribbean collection that they did. Absolutely love this guy, but we'll go ahead and we'll cycle him out. And then this guy right here, these are my highlighters. I'm really glad that I pulled in this NYX highlighter because I actually ended up getting a lot of use out of it, and I do really like it. So I am glad to have that in there. I ended up pulling this guy in again. I just love it so much. This is the Super Shock Cheek in the shade Fire. This was in the Kathleen Lights Zodiac collection that released. I just love this highlighter so much. We're going to go ahead and leave this guy in here as I always do. This is my deluxe sample of the Becca liquid highlighter in the shade Moonstone. It's probably the only liquid highlighter that I really enjoy. And then I'll go ahead and pull this guy out right here. I actually did get a fair bit of use out of it too. This is by Pretty Vulgar. This came in a BoxyCharm. It is in the shade Shimmering Swan, Sparkling Sass. I don't really know which one's the product name and which one's the shade name, so I'm giving it both. This is my highlighter from Persona Cosmetics. This is in my year-long project pan, so it's going to stick around as well. This basket right here is going to stay exactly the same. I've got mascaras, I've got the face powders and the setting sprays that I'm using. It's got a perfume, lip balm. We have eyeliners, concealers, basically the day-to-day stuff that I use. So all of that is going to stay the same. So now that we've cleared up some space, let's go ahead and shop my stash and see what we're going to bring in for the month of March. All right, so let's go ahead and start here. This drawer is my face palette and highlighting drawer. And I think I actually want to go with a highlighting palette this month. It's been a while since I've played with some of my palettes. So here we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Sugar Glow Kit. It is really, really very pretty. I like it a lot. I don't think this is what I'm going to pull for though, because these right here, they look pretty similar to the highlighter that is in my year-long project pan. So I think I'm going to pass this one up for this month. This just came in my most recent BoxyCharm. It is got blush, bronzer, highlight, the whole shebang. We have this one here by Cover FX, super reflective. And it actually looks like this. I don't know, I might do this one. It's got a lot of variety in it. Let me pull this to the side. I might go with that. Or I do have this one by Laura Mercier from a couple of years ago. It looks like this. Those, ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this one in, I think. And then, do we need any others? And of course, need is a very subjective term. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm only gonna stick with just that one because I might have placed a very large ColourPop purchase with their Villains collection, and I know that there are highlighters in there. So yeah, I'm just gonna pull the one highlighting palette from Laura Mercier because I know I'm gonna have a lot to play with there. Next up, we have the drawer that has more face palettes in it, but these are more full face palettes versus the ones up here that are more highlighting palettes. So let's take a look. Underneath here we also have our bronzers and blushes. You know, I think I'm still feeling the palette vibe. So let's take a look at the Narcissist palette. I haven't used this one in a while, and that's got a ton of options in it too. You know what? I think I'm gonna pull this one in for a few different reasons. First of all, it's got a lot of different options in here, but also with all of those new purchases that are gonna be coming in that I have made because I have blown my low buy out of the water for the month of March, and not in a good way. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one in. I realized that for a Shop My Stash, that's a little bit anticlimactic, so I apologize. I'm not going through more of my drawer, but I think it's gonna make the most sense. I have a bronzer in my year-long project pan as well as a blush, so I don't typically need a ton from this drawer here. But yeah, I think that's a smart move. So we'll go ahead and go with that. So next we'll go ahead and we'll dive into one of my many eyeshadow palette drawers. This month we're doing what? G and H. So let's see, I have a good idea of what I want to do for H, but G, let's see. Oh, actually, I think I see what I want. So let's get some of these out of the way. All right, so the first thing that I see that I know starts with the letter G is this guy right here. This is my Glam Metals palette by Crown Cosmetics. This came in one of my BoxyCharms. It's got a lot of really fun, sort of grungy metallic shades in it. This is all metallic with the exception of, I know, this black, and yep, just the black is matte. So you know what, this might be a good call, but let's see if there are any other G palettes that maybe I like more. Let's see. We've also got the Golden State of Mind palette by ColourPop. This is a fun palette. Well, let's see. Let's pull it to the side too and see how they pair next to the palette that I think I'm gonna want for H. Let's make sure there are none other that Oh, hold the phone. This is my very favorite ColourPop palette. Give it to me straight. I love this palette. But you know what? I've used this one a bunch. I know it doesn't look like it, but I have. And the whole point of this is to pull things into my rotation that I don't use as often. So you know what? I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna keep this one in the drawer, but gosh, such a good palette. I love, 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 love this palette here. What did I say? Oh, that is my Yes Please palette, Semi Precious. Soiree Diaries. Yes, I think those are the two that we're going to compare against my H palette. Okay, just one drawer down, and the palette that I think I want to pull in for H is this one right here. This came in a BoxyCharm for December. This is my Violet Voss Holy Grail palette. And this I have been dying to get more use out of. It is really just a very fun, warm, neutral palette. So let's see what is going to pair well with this. So we can do, let's see. How am I going to do this where you can see it? And fail, Ashley, fail. Okay, I think this will work a little bit better. So if we were to do these two palettes right here, I think they would go really quite nicely together, but I'll be honest, they have a lot of striking similarities. So like this shade right here versus this shade right here seems really, really similar. This shade up here and this shade down here. Got this shade here and this shade here. So I don't think it would offer me enough variety just in looking at it. So let's take a look at the other palette up against it. There we go. Let's see, let's get you all in frame here. Okay, so I think this will be a little bit more interesting. But I'll be honest, I see a lot of similarities here. The Glam Metals palette does have some more cooler tones in it. So I think this will actually be able to play nicely off of my unofficial Pan That palette, which is the Lorac Mega Pro 4. So even though it seems like there are some similarities between these two palettes here, I think that the Glam Metals palette will offer enough variety for the third palette in my rotation to sort of play off of. So I think that's what I'll go ahead and do as far as my eyeshadow palettes are concerned. Now, if any of you saw my single shadow eyeshadow declutter, you'll know I kept a lot of them, and I've decided that I want to start making sure to work them into my rotation as well. So these are all of my loose pigments and loose shadows. So I think I want to grab one or two of these to work in as well. I think that this one here by Jessie's Girl, I think will go with the overall theme of the palettes that I have. And then I think in addition to that, what else do we have that maybe I want to pull on in? I think this one right here, Your Minerals. I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this in. It's called Brown Hypnotic. So I think I'm going to pull both of those in as well. And then underneath it, these are all of my ColourPop Super Shock shadows. But I already have two of those in various project pans, so I think I'll leave those alone, as well as these down here. These are my liquid shadows. Actually, I take that back. I'm gonna pull in this one right here. This is one of the Urban Decay Heavy Metal eyeliners. This is in Starfire. I'll go ahead and pull that in too. That's pretty. All right, so this seems like a bit of a meager addition in relationship to everything that we took out. But let's go ahead and see if we have some room to add in the loose shadows that we're going to go ahead and rotate. I don't think so. Okay. Oof, no fair. Okay, so someone's gonna have to sit out. We'll put, you know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll put Jinxie out, because that I use the most, because I use it on my inner corners. So we'll go ahead and leave this guy out, and then we'll go ahead and we'll slide my Lorac Mega Pro 4 back in. I don't know, maybe not. There we go. And then I think this guy here, I'm just going to go ahead and put in this little basket part there. Put my highlighter in. Palette there, and then, I don't know, we'll do something like this. I have too many eyeshadows, that's all it comes down to. I just love it so much. So this is going to be the makeup that I'm going to be working with for the month of March. Alright, so that is what I'm going to be working with in the month of April. I am very excited, especially to start working with some of those face palettes. I don't pull out my face palettes often enough, so I am excited to be pulling those in. And then, of course, trying to blend all of my different eyeshadow palettes together, especially since I keep all of my singles, well, not all of them, but a good bit of my ColourPop singles in there. I just love eyeshadow, and so it's hard for me to limit myself so much to what I'm going to use. But I hope that this has been a fun video for you. I'm really interested to know what you are using for the month of April. What are some of the things that you're excited to pull in? I definitely thank you for spending some time with me. I hope that your day is going really well for you, and I will see you next time. Bye!